Listen, the days of thinking bigger is always better are dead. If you are still hauling a heavy 12 gauge through the marsh just to drop a duck, you are fighting a losing battle. SHOT Show 2026 proved that the industry has flipped the script. We are seeing a revolution where sub-gauges now deliver the terminal performance of a Magnum. And we are seeing structural polymers finally doing things that steel never could. I have broken down the top 5 hunting rigs of the year. No hype, just ballistics and mechanics. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 5, we have the undisputed king of value, the Stoeger M3500 Waterfowl edition. Look, I know what you're thinking. You see a price tag under $1,000 and you assume it's gonna jam on the second shell. But the M3500 is different because it runs on the exact same inertia-driven system found in its Italian cousins that cost twice as much. Here's how it works. Instead of using dirty gas to cycle the bolt, it uses the kinetic energy of the recoil itself. When you pull the trigger, the gun moves backward, but the heavy bolt carrier stays put for a split second, compressing a massive spring inside. That spring then launches the bolt back to eject the shell. It's simple, it's clean, and it keeps running when gas guns start choking on carbon. Stoeger also realized that duck hunters wear gloves, so they loaded this rig with oversized controls and a beveled loading port right from the factory. You can operate the charging handle and bolt release without fumbling, even when your hands are frozen numb. And for 2026, they finally added a Patriot Brown Cerakote finish to the receiver and barrel. This is critical because saltwater doesn't care about your budget. It'll eat a blued gun for lunch. But let's be real about the downside. Since this is an inertia gun without the fancy comfort tech of the high-end models, the recoil is honest. When you drop the hammer on a 3.5-inch Magnum turkey load, it's gonna wake you up faster than a bucket of ice water. It doesn't push you, it punches you. Also, it can be a bit picky with light target loads until you break it in properly. This is a solid workhorse for the money, but if you want a gun that actually defies the laws of physics, you need to wait for the monster sitting at rank number 1. Stepping up the game to number 4, we have the legendary Workhorse that finally got the upgrade it deserved. The Benelli M2 Field 2026. For over a decade, guides and outfitters have trusted the M2 because it simply does not quit. But let's be honest, the old M2 had a reputation. It was reliable, but it was brutal on your shoulder. That changes this year. Benelli has integrated their progressive comfort system directly into the stock. This is not just a squishy rubber pad. Inside the stock, there are sets of interlocking flexible buffers with varying degrees of stiffness. When you shoot a light target load, only the soft buffers compress. But when you slam in a heavy 3-inch Magnum, the system engages the stiff buffers to absorb that massive spike in energy. It turns a recoil impulse that used to feel like a sharp punch into a firm shove. They also fixed the dreaded Benelli click. The 2026 M2 features the easy locking bolt, which uses a detent mechanism to force the bolt head to rotate fully into battery. You can now ease the bolt forward quietly in the deer stand, and it will still fire when you pull the trigger. Here's the engagement check. I know the die-hard gas gun shooters are gonna say an inertia gun can never be as smooth as a gas gun. If you have shot this new M2, sound off in the comments. Is the recoil actually tamed, or is it still a teeth rattler? Now, for the flaw. The price has crept up significantly. The street price is sitting around $1,700. For a gun that is supposed to be the affordable alternative to the Super Black Eagle, that's a steep entry fee. You're paying premium prices for what used to be a mid-tier option.
Now we're entering the territory of legends, but with a modern twist. Sitting at number 3 is the Browning A5 20-gauge camo synthetic. Listen, if you grew up hearing stories about the humpback, you know why this profile is iconic. But this is not your grandfather's shotgun. Browning has taken that classic square-back receiver and built it into a sub-6-pound machine designed specifically for the modern sub-gauge hunter. The secret sauce here is the kinematic drive system. While gas guns get filthy after a few boxes of shells, this system uses the kinetic energy of the recoil to compress a spring and cycle the action. This means all that dirty powder residue and carbon is sent out the end of the barrel, not blown back into your receiver. You can run this gun for an entire season without cleaning it, and it will still cycle like a sewing machine. The distinctive hump is not just for looks. It extends your sight plane significantly. When you shoulder this gun, your eye naturally aligns with the rib, making target acquisition almost automatic. It feels incredibly lively in the hands, perfect for snapping onto fast-moving teal or tracking upland birds through thick brush. This is a beautiful piece of engineering, but wait until you see the absolute material revolution sitting at rank number 1. Now, for the deal breaker. The physics of a lightweight gun are unforgiving. This rig weighs less than 6 pounds. Even with the fancy Inflex recoil pad, if you decide to run heavy, high-velocity turkey loads through this featherweight frame, you are going to feel it. It is sharp, and it will let you know you pulled the trigger. Also, let's be real. Some of you still think the humpback looks like a broken brick. You either love the shape or you hate it.
Closer to the crown, we have the gun that is single-handedly rewriting the laws of ballistics, the Benelli Super Black Eagle 3 AI. For years, the SBE3 has been the gold standard, but in 2026, Benelli solved the biggest problem with steel shot. They introduced the Advanced Impact System. Now listen carefully. AI does not stand for artificial intelligence. It stands for a completely new internal barrel geometry that changes how the shot column accelerates. Standard barrels are just straight tubes, but the AI barrel is an engineered pressure vessel. By optimizing the flow of expanding gases and reducing friction, this system drives pellets faster and keeps them tighter. The data is terrifying. We are talking about a 50% increase in energy retention at distance compared to standard barrels. This means you can take a 28 gauge, a gun that feels like a toy, and drop mallards at 40 yards with the authority of a 12 gauge. It also features the best surface treatment or advanced Cerakote options like Gore Optifade timber, which makes the metal impervious to saltwater corrosion. But here is the deal breaker. Innovation is expensive. The price tag on this rig hits nearly $3,100. That's used car money. That's a down payment on a new truck. You're paying for the best barrel technology on the planet, but your wallet is going to scream for mercy. Here is the Alpha Predator. Sitting at the very top of the food chain is the Beretta AX800 Suprema. This is not just a new model, this is how Beretta celebrates their 500th anniversary. They took a look at the history of shotgun manufacturing and decided to break the rules. They built the receiver out of structural polymer. Now, stop screaming. This is not the cheap plastic you find on a budget toy. This is a monolithic, steel-reinforced chassis that is engineered to be chemically inert. Salt water cannot rust it, mud cannot stain it, and unlike an aluminum receiver that turns into a block of ice in late December, this material stays thermally neutral in your hands. Inside, it runs the B-Link Pro gas system, which cycles 36% faster than the previous generation. It is so fast that you can empty the magazine before the first hull hits the water. But the real magic is in the barrel. It features the Stelium Pro technology with a forcing cone that stretches nearly 18 inches. Most forcing cones are just a few inches long. By stretching it out, Beretta gently squeezes the shot column instead of smashing it. This prevents pellet deformation and delivers patterns that are terrifyingly consistent. Combined with the Kickoff Pro hydraulic dampeners in the stock, shooting a 3.5-inch Magnum feels like shooting a target load. However, we have to address the elephant in the room. The price is $2,500. For that kind of money, traditionalists expect walnut and blued steel. They want a gun with a soul. Buying a plastic shotgun for the price of a used sedan feels wrong to a lot of people. It lacks the romance of the classics. But if you only care about raw performance and a gun that will never rot, this is the new king. Here is the bottom line. The era of the do-it-all shotgun is over. The market has split into specialized tools for specialized missions. If you want the ultimate value for your dollar, you grab the Stoeger. If you want the ballistics engine that turns a 20 gauge into a cannon, you buy the Benelli SBE3 AI. And if you want the absolute pinnacle of material science, you pay the premium for the Beretta AX800. Stop buying gear because your grandfather liked it. Buy it because it works. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.